This is Darren Coppock. I'm the president and CEO for the Agricultural Retailers Association.
Thanks for joining me today, Darren. We wanted to talk to you about, obviously, a new year is upon us, but so is a new administration. And what are the priorities of your organization in this new year with the Biden administration?
I think the thing that we're focused on the most, at least in the policy standpoint, is we understand there's going to be a push toward more regulation rather than less regulation. And so as those regulations start to be developed, it's important for us to be engaged in them to explain the impact on ag retailers, distributors, applicators, et cetera. And our hope is that, Mr. Biden has said on many occasions that he's going to be guided by the science, whether it's COVID, whether it's climate, whatever it is. And so our hope is, and we're going to work to remind his team of this, that also applies in crop protection and fertilizer and all these other things that we're doing out there on the farm. Let's be guided by the science in those as well. So we're watching and actually visiting with some of the people that are going to be key players in the Biden administration. We've had interviews with the incoming EPA Administrator, the incoming U.S. Trade Representative. All the ag groups already know Secretary Vilsack. So there are some good people coming in, and we're going to be able to work with them.
So the new ones coming in, other than Secretary Vilsack, what kind of feedback did you get from them? Were they open to what you had to say?
Yes, they were. Obviously, they can't make a whole lot of commitments on the front end until they get settled and have their people in place. But as you talk to the incoming EPA Administrator, for example, he has a history in his home state of North Carolina of listening to folks and going wherever the science takes him. And so that's really all we can ask for in an EPA administrator. There have been all kinds of lawsuits around pork facilities in North Carolina, and the people in the pork industry spoke very highly of his willingness to listen. So when we had our conversation with him, that was the kind of question is, what's your approach to these kinds of things, whether it's this issue or whether it's WOTUS, which we know is going to come back. It seems like that's just going to keep coming back and coming back forever. And he says, my door's going to be open, not just when we need something from you, but all the time. We'll be able to have an ongoing dialogue and super good conversation with the incoming trade representative, same kind of a vibe. So we're really pleased with some of the people that he's putting in place.
What about things on the trade front? What do you want to see?
Well, the Trump administration was right for calling China to account because they've been cheating on trade agreements for decades. There's a huge report that the trade representative put out in the Trump administration that just documents all the things that they said they were going to do, that they promised to do, that they're obligated to do, and never did. So that needed to happen. What concerned me is that the brunt of the impact in America fell on our farmers. And so if we lose that China as a soybean market or as a market for pork or beef or anything else, that really hits agriculture when the trade disputes often are in other sectors that aren't agriculture. So I'm hoping that as they start to rebuild these relationships, that we'll be able to get the focus on the issues that are really causing the problems and keep the collateral damage to folks like our members' customers to a minimum.
Does that mean you would like to see the tariffs go away?
I don't know that I would say that right away. I think long term we're headed there, but I think there's some useful leverage that might be able to be applied there at the moment. And since you've got the leverage, you don't want to just give it up for nothing. But as you get into summer months or on into 21 a little bit further, I want to see the markets become unencumbered, that we can go back to trading freely and let the best suppliers supply the market as they best can.
Going back a little bit to the EPA and their oversight of ag chemicals and seed treatments and things like that, and we're seeing a new label for dicamba. Is there anything that you think is coming down the pipeline that needs a lot of attention right now?
Well, in addition to the dicamba labels, which I hope we have some certainty on at least for a little while, one of the things that we've been following most closely is transport requirements for restricted use pesticides. And this all started with paraquat, but it's going to expand out to other products too. The way you read the current regulation, if you are obviously, if you're going to apply the products, yes, you need to be a certified applicator for that product. But if you're transporting it on a truck from the warehouse to the field or from the retailer to the field, you should have a CDL to drive your truck so that you're trained to operate that vehicle correctly. But the current regulations would also require that truck driver to have a certified applicator's license, even though they're not applying the product. And so we raised this issue with EPA 2 years ago, hoping to get some resolution on it. We haven't got it there yet. I mean, it's on the radar, but we don't have a resolution for it yet. So those kinds of issues, the dicamba label, the spray drift, what will they do with things like existing stocks on canceled products? Those are some of the things we're watching at EPA.
And incoming Administrator Regan, you brought those issues up to him?
We didn't go that deep into the issues. We were talking at a fairly high level, but with his commitment to science, I think we'll be able to have very honest and candid discussions with him about these.
Well, it sounds like overall you're pretty optimistic. Is there anything else you'd like to add that I didn't ask?
Not that I can think of.
Well, you did a great job. Thank you, Darren. We appreciate the update.
Well, thanks for calling. We'll do it again whenever you want.
All right. Sounds good.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, hold on. We'll stop the recording there. If I can push the right button. Okay. I think we did it. So hopefully, I'll send you a link once this is posted to the website. I have no idea when that'll be. I'm out all next week. I'm having a bone spur removed. I know people laugh when they hear bone spurs, but this is a pretty big one. So I'll be out of the office next week, but hopefully we can get it up this week.
Good. Well, it's not a time you want to go to the hospital, but when you need to go, it's nice to know it's there and they do it professionally, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time and we will talk again.
Sounds good. Thanks.
All right. Take care.